So if you're anything like us, you have definitely been there.
Oh, for sure.
You're just trying to whip up some melted chocolate, right?
Yeah.
Maybe for dipping strawberries or, I don't know, drizzling on a cake.
Something simple.
Exactly. And it's going fine. You pop it in the microwave, you give it a stir, and then in like 1 second, it's over.
It just transforms. It goes from this beautiful, glossy liquid to, I don't know, cement. This grainy, lumpy mess.
Pure frustration.
Oh.
And we always blame the microwave. We think, oh, it's too harsh or it's too uneven. It feels like the wrong tool for anything delicate.
A nuclear option, yeah.
But here's the crazy irony, and this is really our mission for this deep dive. The entire reason you even have a microwave in your kitchen is because of a melted chocolate bar.
It sounds like a made-up story, like an urban legend, but it's absolutely true. We're going to connect the dots from that gooey snack to a complete technological revolution.
We are. We're digging into the history, the science of why it goes so wrong, and then, most importantly, we're going to give you the foolproof method to get perfect, silky chocolate every single time.
Mastery. All because someone had a candy bar in their pocket.
So let's set the scene. It's 1945. World War II is just ending. We're in Massachusetts at a company called Raytheon.
And Raytheon was a huge defense contractor. They were building radar equipment, really high-tech stuff for the time.
The key piece of that equipment was something called a magnetron. It's basically a tube that generates these incredibly powerful microwaves for the radar systems.
And you have to imagine what these things were like. Not a sleek little box. These were huge, humming metal devices throwing off all this invisible energy.
And our main character is Percy Spencer. He's a brilliant, self-taught engineer there working on making these magnetrons even more powerful.
So he's just doing his job.
Right. He's standing near a live magnetron, probably running some tests, and he has a snack in his pocket. Yeah. Just a regular candy bar.
And he feels something weird. Not just the slow melt you'd get from body heat. This was fast. It was gooey.
He pulls it out, and the chocolate has just liquefied. And he, being a scientist, his first reaction isn't annoyance, it's curiosity.
What just happened?
Exactly. He realizes it has to be the invisible waves from the magnetron.
And this is where his genius really kicks in. He doesn't just go, huh. He immediately starts testing it. He needs to see if this is a real, repeatable thing.
So his next move is he gets a bag of popcorn kernels, places them in front of the magnetron, and...
Instant popcorn all over the lab floor.
Right. It confirmed the heating effect was intense and almost immediate. But the real clincher, the experiment that proved everything, involved an egg.
Ah, the egg.
He puts a whole raw egg in the path of the waves. And a colleague who was with him said it just started to sort of tremble and shake.
Because the inside was cooking so fast.
So fast that the internal pressure built up and it just exploded. All over his friend's face, apparently.
Yeah. A messy but very effective demonstration.
It was the perfect proof. This wasn't heat from the outside. The energy was cooking the food from the inside out. And that exploding egg, plus the melted chocolate bar, was the birth of the microwave oven.
It's amazing how fast Raytheon realized what they had. They saw this wasn't just a military tool anymore.
They filed for patents right away, and the first commercial model came out in 1947. But it was not something you'd recognize.
No, you need to get a picture of this in your head. The first one was called the Radar Range.
The Radar Range.
And it was almost 6 feet tall.
Taller than most people.
And it weighed over 340 kilograms. That's more than 750 pounds. This was an industrial beast.
You'd find them in, like, restaurants or on trains.
Yeah.
Big institutional kitchens. And the price?
It cost about as much as a brand new car.
So it took decades for that technology to shrink and become affordable. But it all started there. That ruined snack in his pocket changed modern cooking forever.
The convenience we take for granted, all of it, goes back to Percy Spencer noticing his chocolate bar was turning into goo.
Okay, so that's the origin. It's a great story. But let's jump back to today. To us, in our kitchens, getting frustrated.
Right.
If this machine was invented because chocolate melts so well in it, why is it so hard to get it right? Why do we end up with that burnt, grainy mess?
And that gets us right into the science of how microwaves actually work and why chocolate is, well, it's a total paradox for the technology.
It seems so unpredictable.
So the basic mechanism, what Spencer saw with the egg, is that these waves make molecules vibrate. Specifically, they're incredibly good at vibrating water molecules.
Which creates friction, and that creates the heat.
Exactly. It's why heating soup or a mug of water is so simple. It's almost all water. The microwave has plenty to work with.
Okay, I see where this is going. What about chocolate?
Well, think about what pure dark chocolate is. It's cocoa solids and cocoa butter. Cocoa butter is a fat. There's almost zero water.
Ah, so the very thing the machine is designed to heat up just isn't there.
Precisely. The microwave is sort of struggling. The heat builds up very slowly and, more importantly, very unevenly. You get these super concentrated hot spots right next to areas that are still completely solid.
And it holds its shape. It tricks you into thinking it's not melting, but parts of it are actually scorching.
And that leads to the other big failure, seizing. You have this fat-based mixture, the chocolate, and if even one tiny drop of water gets in there from a wet spoon or steam, anything, it's game over.
The cocoa solids just clump together.
Instantly, they grab onto that water and form that sandy, gritty texture. That's what seizing is.
So water is the enemy. But wait, what about milk chocolate or white chocolate? They have milk solids in them, so they have some moisture, right?
They do, and that makes them even trickier, believe it or not.
Well,
Because they have some moisture, they absorb the microwave energy much faster. They also melt at a lower temperature. This creates the risk of something called superheating.
superheating, that sounds bad.
It is. The little bit of liquid in there can get hotter than boiling, but without actually bubbling. Then when you go to stir it, all that stored energy can release at once. It can kind of erupt, and it causes instant scorching.
Okay, so we have two different problems. Dark chocolate heats unevenly because it has no water, and milk and white chocolate heat too fast because they have a little water.
It's a delicate balance. And of course, the absolute #1 rule, never ever put foil or any metal in there. The waves create sparks. It's a fire hazard.
Right, use a glass or ceramic bowl and make sure it's bone dry.
So how do we fix this? How do we use this water heating machine to gently melt a fat-based solid? We need a protocol.
An anti-burn protocol. Let's do it. What's step one?
Preparation. And it sounds basic, but people skip it. You have to chop the chocolate into small, uniform pieces.
Even pieces, not big chunks and little shavings.
Right. Because if the pieces are different sizes, they'll melt at different rates. That's what causes those hot spots to begin with. Uniformity is your best defense.
Okay, so chopped chocolate in a completely dry, microwave-safe bowl. What's next?
The power setting. This is the big one. You have to set your microwave to medium, or even better, 50% power.
Never full power.
Never. Going full blast is like trying to use a blowtorch. By cutting the power in half, you're slowing the whole process down. You're giving the heat time to spread gently through the cocoa butter instead of just blasting those few water molecules.
You're turning a blunt instrument into a precision tool.
That's a perfect way to put it.
So lower power means we need to adjust the time, right?
Absolutely. Short bursts. For dark chocolate, maybe start with 20 or 30 seconds. For the more delicate milk or white chocolate, I'd go even shorter, like 15 seconds.
You can always add more time, but you can't unburn it.
You cannot. Which brings us to the most important step of all. The one you cannot skip.
The stirring.
You have to stir. After every single burst, even if you pull it out and it looks completely solid, take it out and stir it thoroughly.
Why is that so critical if it doesn't even look melted?
Because it is melted on the inside, like we said, chocolate holds its shape, the heat is trapped in there. When you stir, you're physically moving that heat around, distributing it evenly. You're using the hot parts to melt the solid parts.
You're essentially becoming the microwave's convection system.
Exactly. You're preventing any one spot from getting too hot and burning.
Okay, so we've got low power, short bursts, and stirring every time. Is that it?
One last little pro tip, the finishing touch. You want to stop heating before it's completely melted.
Wait, stop while there are still lumps in it.
Yes. When it's maybe 85 or 90% melted, and you still see a few small lumps, you're done with the microwave.
Why?
The residual heat in the bowl and in the melted chocolate is more than enough to finish the job. You just keep stirring gently outside the microwave, and those last few pieces will dissolve perfectly.
And that stops you from pushing it for that just 5 more seconds that always ends in disaster.
That's the 5 seconds that scorches it. This way, you get a glossy, smooth, perfectly tempered finish.
It's pretty amazing that so many professional chocolatiers actually prefer the microwave for this.
They do, because when you use this low and slow method, it's actually one of the fastest and most reliable ways to keep the cocoa butter's structure intact. That's what gives you that beautiful shine and snap.
So the very appliance that was invented because chocolate melted too easily is actually the best tool for the job, as long as you control it.
The irony is delicious, isn't it?
It really is. So the next time you walk up to that microwave and you press that 50% power button, just take a second. Picture Percy Spencer back in 1945, standing next to that giant 6-foot-tall humming machine, just realizing that the gooey mess in his pocket was about to change the world.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to take away. We tend to think that huge inventions come from years of focused research to solve some big problem. But the microwave oven, which totally changed global food culture, came from a moment of just accidental observation.
He wasn't trying to invent an oven.
Not at all. He just paid attention to something that was weird. An anomaly. So the question is, what other world-changing breakthroughs are sitting right in front of us, disguised as some mundane, everyday inconvenience that we're just not paying close enough attention to?
We'll leave you with that thought,
So-
and hopefully with the confidence to go melt some chocolate perfectly. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive.